Infant mortality is going up, maternal mortality is going up, prematurity is going up again. We brought it down for several years in a row and now it's curving upward again. What is going on? We spend more money on maternity care and we're doing terribly. And part of it is racism.
We are two women, Jana
and Katy, empowering women to experience new life as Yema mamas.
We are friends sharing our own lives and learning through childbirth,
motherhood,
singleness,
and womanhood to empower you to discover joy and spiritual well-being in all of life.
You are a woman created for wholeness.
Our outcomes are getting worse. We're the only industrialized country, you probably all know this, that our cesarean rates are among the highest. They are stable now. Infant mortality is going up, maternal mortality is going up, prematurity is going up again. We brought it down for several years in a row and now it's curving upward again. What is going on? We spend more money on maternity care and we're doing terribly. And part of it is racism and lack of access to care. Black women are 2 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. And we cannot have that. We cannot have that. And I think that we're starting to look at it, but still the difference between women of color, well, mostly African American women, because Latino women do very well. Our Asian population does very well. So we've got to do something about that. And everybody, I mean, people are, and I think we're getting there, but that's, in dealing with that, I've had to face my own racism. And it was a shock to me. And I thought I was fair-minded, I thought I was open-minded, I thought that I don't have any feelings, racism. And I took a couple of workshops and I realized I'm not the one that's going to solve this problem. I can help empower people to do it, but I can't. But that's been a hard thing for me, but I think it's the biggest problem. I've done some studying on this too, and we had a conference beyond birth outcomes. How racism is something. I can't remember. It was a great conference, but we learned a lot about epigenetics there. And the interesting thing is, just to paint the picture a little bit better, African American women compared to African women who have moved to the United States, you know this.
Yes.
African American women have worse outcomes than the Africans who have moved, sometimes in poverty, over here. And it's because they didn't have the slavery syndrome that gets passed down through the generations and the maltreatment. And the studies have shown that an African American woman, well educated, a lawyer, good income, living in a good neighborhood, eating well, doing all the things, exercising, a privileged African American woman, compared to a white woman who hasn't graduated from high school, she'll have worse outcomes. As a group, there are going to be those that don't. But it's the inherited genetic makeup, which is changing because the educated, middle-class African-American woman does have better outcomes than a poor African-American woman. So, as lives are improving, gradually, I think it's the thing that's going to take. It took generations to wreck it, and it's going to take generations to fix it. I think that we need to make the avenue of doulas much broader for women of color. Because they're making a huge difference with Open Arms. There's the example that we need, among others. But I think that in our trainings, we're at Simkin Center, we've been trying to get some people of color on our faculty, and it's been very hard. It's a big problem, and we're trying to solve it, but it's been a challenge. So I think that our action would be to make opportunities possible for people of color to enter into caregiving roles, increasing those. And that would be with funding, that would be with educational opportunities, and that would be by becoming more aware of our own deficiencies in this area, so that we can help to level the playing field for everybody. Yeah, I think I had a naive concept that when you get to 5 centimeters, it doesn't matter what the doula looks like. You know, she could look like the woman or not. And I think maybe I was a little naive on that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that if an African American woman could have an African American doula, and of course when they forge an alliance, they can go so much further together than a white woman. And I hate to be so racist, but I mean, I can be kind and I can really care, but I don't get it, you know, way down in my being. And there is an awareness that I think that the person would be more confident if she is accompanied by somebody that looks like her. And I hope she has other bonds with that person too.
So you're saying doulas and medical professionals, basically encouraging more African American
absolutely. And that's a long-term
birth
thing.
workers to make a difference.
But that doesn't mean that a white doula cannot be very helpful to a black laboring person. But I think that we shouldn't expect to be able to get the same level of closeness that we might with a person who looks like us, that she might get with someone who looks like her. That's just what I'm thinking. I've had to accept some patience on this. Because it is getting better. It is getting better.
What do you believe is the most important message for expecting mamas and papas out there to hear regarding childbirth and postpartum?
That's easy.
Okay.
For me. I want them to know that they're never going to forget. They're never going to forget the birth of this child. The people that were involved, the events, they're going to be a lot of detailed memories. Unless they're drugged, with a narcotic and have no awareness at the time, they won't have anything to recall. But people remember forever, and you probably know about my study. It's in the doula training. But I worked with women 20 years after they had their babies. They had been in my class. I hadn't been their doula because I wasn't doing that. But they remembered their birth so clearly. And I published that in the early 90s, 1991, 2 parts. And it was that study and those interviews with those people finding out they have not forgotten. They remember what was said to them and how it was said. They're going to remember it for the rest of their lives. And some of the people I interviewed were having horrible memories. Every time they remembered. One woman, she would, in the interview, she pounded her fist on the table and started swearing a blue streak about a doctor who gave her an episiotomy that wound up being a 4th degree episiotomy because she was screaming. Now that's the way she read it. It was the baby was coming very fast. She was bellowing, and she thinks he wanted to shut her up. And that's the memory she's taken. That was 18 years since that baby was born, and she reacted to this, fury. And if it means that much, and the good births mean a lot too, let's make it a good memory. And that's
Amen.
And honestly, I realized in that study it was how they remembered being cared for, more than whether they had long labor, hard labor, unwanted cesarean. It was how they remembered being cared for, and we can control that. We can be nice to people.
Awesome word to end on, Penny. Thank you so much for your time and doing this interview with us. It was amazing. And if you like this video, subscribe to our channel and also go check out Penny's YouTube channel and see all the links in the description below. Also, there's a couple free things that you can find there. So thank you, and we will see you later.